Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly character review that we've been doing. This week, Brandon is going to be sitting out. I believe he heard the news that his parents didn't love him anymore, so he's not going to be able to join us because he's going to need a few days. But with us, we have a special guest, Jason, aka Justy. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited to talk about the new release Elektra that's just come out. So for those of you who haven't spoken with Jason or talked to him on Discord or any of the TTS servers or anything, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you your gaming background and how you got into Marvel?
Yeah, so I'm Jason. I'm Justy on Facebook, on all the Discord servers, all of that. So I've played games since I was 13 years old. Got into gaming with the Lord of the Rings miniatures game that led to 40K, led to War Machine and Hordes, which is how I met you guys. And then obviously the same development team that was on a lot of the War Machine and Horde stuff moved over to MCP. So when that game was debuted at Gen Con, I was immediately intrigued by it because I love Marvel Comics and I love gaming. So I was in the game from the get go. From the preview days on, so I bought a starter set on launch day, and I've been in ever since.
Nice, yeah. Um, well, before we kind of get into Elektra, real quick, just a small announcement. If you're watching this on YouTube, uh, our weekly review casts that we've been doing are available on Apple, on Spotify, and on Google. So you can find all those. If you listen to podcasts on any of those formats, we are on there for you to give us a listen. So if you'd rather listen to it on commute, feel free to check us out. And then before we get into the character review, I was kind of wanting to do something a little bit different this week. So just kind of recap what we've been doing hobby-wise. So Jason, we'll start with you again. What have you kind of been doing hobby-wise recently with the game?
Yeah, we had a nice hobby night the other night online. Brad joined me for that for a little bit, and so I painted up, finished up my cable finally, cable and domino, and then got to play some games last night. So played some Web Warriors, believe it or not, last night. So it's
Nice, yeah.
been a busy MCP week for me. So
ASM making the roster.
no, not at all,
Yeah.
not at all. Actually, I played Miss Marvel. It was a lot of fun. So.
That's pretty rhetorical, but yeah, it never hurts to ask, huh?
Right, right.
Uh, my,
No, I
s- oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say when it comes to Spider-Man, I prefer adequate Pete. So,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna take one. But anyway,
Myself, I'm pretty much starting 2022. I told myself I'd play affiliations I haven't really touched too much in the game, so I'm kind of looking at been playing Avengers and then playing some Criminal Syndicate, Shadowland, Daredevils. God, has got me pretty hyped. So I don't know, probably 6 or 7 Criminal Syndicate models, and I think Doctor Voodoo Prime today. So gonna be sitting down doing some hardcore painting with them over the next week or so. But that's pretty much all we got going. What about you, Brad?
Um, I most recently painted X23 and Honey Badger. I painted them real quick once I got them because I wanted to get them on the table.
I got to see
And
those last night. They look very good. They look very
I've
good.
been working on a secret project, but I'm not going to spoil that on here because it's going to be a surprise for the people I play against.
Oh,
That'll be hitting the table soon.
then I think you've kind of got a league getting ready to be planned, right? We got some kits in.
Yes, yeah, we finally got the Dormammu event kit, which we're playing next Wednesday. That will be in the past. No. That'll be the upcoming Wednesday when you're listening to this. And then we've got the Unstoppable Colossus pack that I'm going to be running for us.
I'm excited for that one. That one looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I love my X-Men, so I'm definitely more excited for that one.
All right, well, I guess we can kind of jump into looking at Elektra. So, kind of going over her card, we have Elektra, aka Elektra Natchios. Is that how you say it? Not
It's
yeah,
pronounced Electric Nachos.
Electric Nachos. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be doing that forever whenever I see her on the table. So, thank you for that. So going over her stats, on her healthy side, she has 6 stamina, medium mover, size 2 with 4 threat. She's 3-3-3 across the board for physical energy and mystic defense. She has 2 attacks, a mystic ancient throwing blades, which is range 3, 5 dice, 0 cost, Has a Wild Pierce, Wild Bleed, and after the attack is resolved, if there's not an allied hand ninja's character in play, place it in play within range 1 of this character. With an activated token, it is part of your squad. So we know, kind of looking from Shadowlands Daredevil, that after it's resolved, you pretty much always get this. There's no kind of trigger on it. Just if you make the attack and they're not there, you get them. And then when the hand ninjas specifically get placed on the field, they get to attack immediately with a 4 dice, I believe, double Wild Bleed trigger. So whenever she makes this attack, you're kind of looking at around 9 dice. If any of you are keen, you'll notice that there is no power generation on this ability, but we'll kind of review that later in the superpowers. She has the Impale physical attack, range 1, 8 dice, 5 power cost. If an allied hand ninja's character is within 2 of the target character, add 2 dice to the attack roll. The defending character does not add crit results in its defense roll to his successes, and cannot add additional dice to his defense roll as a result of critical results. After the attack is resolved, this character may advance medium. So she gets the free advance if she does this ability. 8 dice base going up to 10, kind of similar to Shadowlands Daredevil, where he gets buffed if the hand ninjas are nearby. And then she also has the same text as, I believe, Vision whenever he does the Synthesoid Avenger. So no getting crits and no adding crits. It's pretty strong. So going down to her superpowers, she has the reactive Assassin Step, cost 2. When this character damages an enemy character with an attack after the attack is resolved, it may use the superpower. Place this character within range 1 of the damaged character. This superpower can be used once per turn. She has a reactive Martial Prowess, cost 2. When this character is targeted by an attack within range 2, it may use the superpower. Instead of rolling dice equal to its defense, it rolls 5 defense dice. Then, if the character suffered no damage from the attack, after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage. And then she has 2 passive abilities, one being Stealth, which we're all familiar with, the second one being Out for Blood. When this character deals damage to an enemy character with an attack or superpower, after the attack or superpower is resolved, this character gains 1 power. Going over to her injured side, not much changes except that her stamina pool goes down to 5 instead of 6. So losing 1 point of stam on her injured side. So yeah, what do we think about Elektra? Jason, I'll start with you because I've heard that you're a pretty big fan of the character overall. So
Yeah, I've been an Elektra fan in the comics for a while. I I wouldn't say I'm high on the stats of the character, right? If we're just looking at the card, I wouldn't say that I'm high on putting her anywhere, but I do think that there's places where she'll be decent. Anywhere where she can get more power or you can help her offensive output, I think she'll be playable. I mean, we talk about offensive output. I look at her just as a 5 dice mystic attack in X Force, for instance, and it's a free attack, right? So and it's range 3.
it's a very good attack. It's really good.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I think she'll have places. I think that if you start looking at that impale as more of a when you're able to do it thing and not like something that you're trying to make happen, right? I think that might be something, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, looking at her, she it's my 2 cents. You're really looking at, because the range 1, I mean, you can advance and do it. I think the optimal play is to Ancient Throwing Blades into an Assassin Step into an Impale, right? I think that's probably the play that you're kind of looking at.
Yeah.
But I 7 power in the way that she generates. I mean, just like a lot of characters, you know, the turn that she gets tanked, she's going to be loaded and she's going to be able to do that. But unfortunately, it looks like you're probably really only getting this off once per game, I think.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I'm me personally, I'm not too hot on her. I just don't know. I think that she would be really fine if this was just a flat builder. And then you also kind of just had this. You know, so
I agree.
don't get power equal to damage dealt, but if this is a flat builder, let's say you plank for 1, she gets out for blood for 1, that automatically turns your Assassin Step and your Martial Prowess online. And, you know, maybe you're not doing this all the time, but I think that probably would be fine. I'm not sure why they chose to not give her any kind of power generation on Ancient Throwing Blades, but what do you think, Brad, when you kind of look at her?
Well, as you guys said, that her attacks are good. She just doesn't get any power. Like, because we have to assume she's probably going to be CS. Like that makes sense with Daredevil coming with Daredevil
Yeah.
and her background and stuff like that. I don't I don't play CS, but I don't see how you put her in CS. You'd
I
have to play her out affiliation with someone who gives her power to get her going.
Yeah, so I mean, if you really like Elektra, and I mean the figure looks awesome. Like the
Oh
figure is
yeah,
it's a very good miniature.
I'm getting this box. I'm putting her together. I'm painting her.
Yeah, like she looks really
I don't know
good.
how
So
often I'm gonna put her on the table.
yeah, if you guys are interested in Elektra and you like the model and stuff, you want to pick her up. I think to kind of mirror what Brad is saying, she will probably be affiliated in Criminal Syndicate, but she does not belong in Criminal Syndicate. Unfortunately, she's not going to be doing really anything for Kingpin, and being 4 threat instead of 3. If you're looking for hand ninjas, I think there's almost zero reason why you bring her over Shadowlands Daredevil, even if you're wanting to play Kingpin on the table. Um, and then unfortunately, like she does, she's obviously a model kind of designed for violence, but I still think even with the Shadow War leadership that Shadowlands Daredevil brings, that she's really not a good fit for it. So I guess I'll kind of ask you guys, where do you think that you would kind of probably place her, because clearly she's going to have to go in a different affiliation. So if you're wanting to plug her into another affiliation, what's probably some of the few that you think she would slot into pretty good? Probably Cabal, maybe.
Yeah, Red Skull Cabal is where I kind of zoomed in on that the other day. I think that there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that. Red Skull can move her around a little bit too, so there's some utility there at least. It wouldn't be a boring play style. You can make sure she's getting a ton of power, right? Because she's getting 2 every time she damages somebody. So that's an interesting place. And then A Force is something else that I thought about, that you can pass her power, right? An A Force typically, like if
Especially
you have a
especially if
okay,
she ends up affiliated
right.
randomly.
And who knows if she'll be affiliated with that or not, because that's the great debate. Uh,
Yeah, I think those are really good. What about, do you think that at her 4 threat, she fits into something like a Magneto? Or do you think that she just stays completely out of there?
as a player that's played a lot of Brotherhood, it's really hard to get an unaffiliated 4 in a Brotherhood list.
Yeah, I understand that.
Because of the way that the list builds itself, it makes it really, really difficult to get an unaffiliated 4. I think that if you can make it work, it would be a really interesting roster. I think that Magneto would be cool for her, but I don't see it personally.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. Um, Yeah, Cabal, Red Skull Cabal specifically is very good. A Force is also a good pick. I don't know what you guys would think maybe with Rogers Avengers, because it's not too hard to squeak in a 4, and then every time you do a damage, you're getting a discount. So it's only 1 for Assassin Step, only 1 for Martial Prowess.
The
So
martial prowess reactive being 1
because
every time is
yeah,
really good.
because
That's really good for her.
Yeah, what and keep in mind here, guys, that when you read this, it says attack or superpower. So if you're damaging somebody with martial prowess, you refund yourself the power.
Mhm.
So if you're in Rogers, it costs you 1. You don't take any damage. You give them 2. You gain 1 power back. So maybe in Steve, there's also some good power economy there for her, but it's kind of unfortunately it's kind of few and far between for Elektra. I feel like so. We don't know what tactics cards is going to come in the box. We don't know if maybe she's going to have any kind of specific tactics cards that might be very good, might kind of change our outlook on her. These are just,
Yeah.
our initial first impressions, but tactics cards we've seen in the past can really change how valued a character is as well as how valued an affiliation is. So maybe there's something good in there for her in the box. But what so we've been doing a fun thing, Jason, where we've been kind of ranking characters on an A to D scale. We might have to change the scale slightly to include S tiers in there because there are, I think, maybe just a few characters that sit above all the rest in the A. But where do you think that you would put Elektra on a chart A to D?
For me, I would put her in a. I don't know. This is tough because my heartstrings pull at me a little bit too. But I'm gonna fight for C tier.
C
I'm
tier?
gonna fight for C tier because I think that she does at least have places where you can play her, and not feel awful about it. We just named a few. Um, it's not like to me a D tier model is old Ebony Maw, right? Where there's nowhere to play him. It just feels bad anytime that you take him. I don't know that she's going to be that way all the time. So I'm going to say C. I'm probably going to get outvoted, but
Uh, let's see. Five
If you're not
standard
ready, I can go.
size. Yeah, go ahead. I'm weighing it out here a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe you'll sway me one way or another.
It's real sad that Brandon couldn't make it for this one, and I had to fill in last minute, which was not the plan because I know Brandon would have given her an A. But I'm going to go with C minus.
C
She
minus.
is, yeah, she might even be D, but I think she has more potential than a D. So I'm going with C minus. I think she's low tier, but not unplayable.
The, so I think I maybe
Just,
could hear a little bit. Like I can kind of get on board a little bit with what you're saying. The thing that holds me back is that she is playable. I believe, of course, in some of the three or four affiliations we were talking about. But at the end of the day, I don't like her.
just do it. Give her a D.
Yeah, I think I am. Her attacks are good. I do enjoy her superpowers, but I think I'm probably gonna go flat D,
okay.
maybe D plus.
Can I make one more pitch to you?
Oh, you
Can I
sure
make
can.
one more pitch? Okay.
Absolutely.
Here's my this is my very last pitch that I've got. Um, I was not interested in Red Skull Cabal whatsoever for the entirety of the existence of this game, and she's made me interested in Red Skull Cabal.
I
That
can vouch for that statement.
yeah, no, I'm hearing you. Like I think that call out there is very very good, and I think that she does have a place there. I guess I think I'm gonna stick to my guns right now, even though that's a good point. With a D, I'll go D plus.
Okay.
And I'll wait and see how often she gets taken versus other characters in affiliation. Because that's the one thing that's holding me back from a C, is that even though you can take her and she probably would do well, I don't know right now if it's better than what they could take affiliated or if she's better than an unaffiliated 4. So until I kind of lock that in, I think I'll stick to a D plus for now.
Okay.
But
Let's do we know the release date on her yet? I know it's March, right? Do we know the exact day?
I don't know if we have the exact day locked in. I do believe it is March.
Okay. If she releases, like, let's say, so your tournament in Charleston is the 12th. Let's say that she releases on the 11th. I'll play Red Skull Cabal that Saturday, and you better be there.
I'll come. I'll watch, and if you kick my ass in the tournament, then you don't even have to kick my ass. If you show me good things, I'll get on this. I'll get back on this cast, and I'll eat crow. I'll be ready to do it. So
Deal.
deal. All right, it's
I
a
love
deal.
it. I love it. Throwing it down.
Yeah, across the state handshake. That's what's happening right now.
There it is.
We've gentlemen's agreement. All right. Well, that's kind of it for our review right now. I've been trumped so far. We're looking at C's for Elektra. I'm sitting at a little bit of a D plus, but only time will
The
tell. She's
average
not
is to
actually.
C minus.
The average is C minus. So we like to end the cast with some comic reviews. If you're interested in Elektra, you think that she's just a cool character, maybe you haven't read too much about her, and you kind of want to check out maybe where you could get some of her background stuff in the comics, we have some suggestions for you. So I know that Jason here is a very big fan and has read a lot of her works. So why don't you give us some comic suggestions if people are wanting to kind of learn more?
Okay, so Elektra has been in comics for a very long time, but I really wanted to zoom in on two appearances, two runs of comics that I think really show the character more. She's been in a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, the character's had Very little depth. There's not a lot. She's not the focal character oftentimes, but there's two comic runs that always stick out to me. One being Shadowlands, which is a topical comic run anyway because of the box that she's included in with Shadowlands Daredevil. So you get to kind of do that Venn diagram by reading that storyline. But the other one, and that's this one's really close to my heart, is the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil run that just finished and has started into the current comic run of Devil's Reign. It's a big cross Marvel event. And he's going to be starting the next volume of Daredevil. Anyway, so in his Daredevil comic, it was issue 26, I believe, 25 or 26. Elektra actually takes the mantle of Daredevil for the very first time, and it's a really neat event. The rest of the story kind of tells that story. Devil's Reign kind of picks it up, and right now there's a mini series to go along with Devil's Reign called Daredevil, Woman That Knows No Fear. Anyway, that entire story is great. I think that it really gets into a lot of the thought processes of Elektra, some of her trauma, some of the things that she's had to deal with. And it really gets to the nitty gritty of the character. And it really gives you more of that character that comic fans have always wanted. So I can't recommend that enough. Chip Zdarsky is a phenomenal writer. Yeah, that's what I have.
Nice. Those are great suggestions. That's the second time I've heard Shadowlands kind of come up. I think I might pick that one up and kind of check it out. I've heard very good things about it.
It's well worth it. It's not a long read. You can read through the whole event fairly quick. I think it's very, very worth the time invested.
All right. Well, if you guys also want to check her out in the cinematic universe, I heard that there's a great film about her that came out January 14th, 2005. Starred the wonderful Jennifer Gardner. So I'm sure that the 11% that movie sits at on Rotten Tomatoes is just a lie. So guys, go check out Elektra. Came out over a decade ago. So be good. That's a joke. Nobody should watch that movie. It was terrible.
Yeah. I was gonna say instead, pick up your Marvel Unlimited and read the Zdarsky run.
All right. Well, Jason, thanks for being a guest with us today. It was a joy to have you on. Look forward to having you on again.
Thanks a ton for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it.
Brad, it's good talking to you as always. Until next week. Brandon, I'm sorry that you received that news about your parents. It's hard to hear that, your parents don't love you. You take off as long as you need, and hopefully you can come back next time and not cancel being on the cast last minute, bud. We love you here. So, but all right, guys, that's it for us. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Where would you rank Elektra in the grand scheme of Marvel? A to D. Let's hear it. I'm excited to see the comments for this one. But until then, we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.